Novak Djokovic has continued to make even more history after claiming his 21st Grand Slam title and 7th Wimbledon crown. Djokovic defeated Nick Kyrgios 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 7-6 to become the only man in the Open era to win Wimbledon 4 consecutive times. Going over the match a bit, Novak looked very tentative early on and just seemed to be trying to make as many balls back in play as possible, hoping for Kyrgios to miss. This wasn't a horrible play, as this was Kyrgios' first slam final, meaning that he could be prone to spraying a lot of errors early on. Nick actually came out very solid, stepping in and dictating while also maintaining good rally tolerance. Meanwhile, Djokovic came out looking a little bit flat, which costed him as he handed Kyrgios the break after a double fault to go up 3-2. By the way, Nick chose to receive serve first to open up the match, which I thought was interesting. That decision clearly worked out for him though, as Nick was absolutely cruising on serve thanks to his high first serve percentage of 77%. He hit his spots very well, nailing down 7 aces while winning 80% of first serve points. He was also very successful on second serve, winning 83% of points there. Kyrgios knew his serve was on fire as he didn't waste any energy on return, kind of just giving Novak free service winners. I was surprised with how well Kyrgios did in those longer rallies, and he actually won a majority of them early on in this match. For one, Kyrgios moved surprisingly well considering how tall he is, and he was able to stay with Djokovic in those more physically taxing affairs. Nick also used the backhand slice very well against Novak to keep him from driving that backhand and maneuvering the ball all around. Kyrgios also had a surprisingly calm demeanor out there early on and just seemed very focused and poised. That all changed at 2-1 in the second set, where Nick got broken at love. There, Kyrgios didn't go up and after his serve as much, while Djokovic got a much better read on it, making all of his returns. That was the difference maker, as he made Kyrgios play that next ball after first serve to make him work and earn those points. Things were fairly steady on serve for both until 5-3, where Novak faced 4 break points total. Djokovic first recovered from a love 40 deficit, which was more thanks to Nick gifting it away with unforced errors. On that last break point, Djokovic was simply too good, finishing off a decent rally with an exquisite drop shot. Nick was obviously not happy about those missed opportunities and started chirping at his box a little bit more. The Aussie almost let his frustrations get the best of him, facing 2 break points in the opening game of the third, which he managed to save with clutch serving. Side note, I don't get why players like Nick get mad and angry at their boxes whenever they make mistakes on court themselves. Your team didn't cause you to miss that backhand. You did that yourself. I know Nick is taking care of them all financially, but I don't know how they can stand such disrespect because me personally, I'm pulling a Joe Savara and getting up and out of there. In the third set, Novak started cruising a lot more in his service games, routinely getting love in 15 holes. Djokovic was just far more solid and locked in from the ground too, and wasn't afraid to change directions, oftentimes leaving Kyrgios flat-footed. There was a bit of drama in the third set, as first a protester raising awareness about Peng Shuai was escorted out of the building by security. Then an apparent tipsy woman was causing a ruckus during one of Kyrgios' service games, which he was not happy about to say the least. He actually ended up getting a code violation warning for his complaints too. Things seemed to be smooth sailing for both until 4-all, where Nick squandered a 40-love lead on serve to get broken. Kyrgios just honestly played a very sloppy game, blundering volleys, missing routine rally shots, and double faulting. Once again, he blamed it all on his team and was screaming at them, pleading for them to say something because they were, quote, too relaxed when he was up 40-love in that game. Nick, you're a grown man playing in a slam final. I understand the pressure might be a lot, but that was just too weird and too immature for a man that's pushing 30 years old. I'm sorry. Nick let the anger get to him a bit too much and played a sloppy game the next game to honestly gift Novak the set. I think that was a key opening for him as well to get back into this match because Djokovic's level dipped when he served for the set. However, Nick just wasn't as mentally strong as he needed to be there. Djokovic went off court for a few minutes after claiming the third set, which I thought was a mistake because it allowed Nick needed to calm down and regroup. He came out in the fourth playing much better tennis and was serving strong, but so was Novak. Neither man had a sniff at a break point, so we were brought to a set-deciding 7-point tiebreaker. Unfortunately for Nick, he just couldn't rise to the occasion and didn't play his best tennis, while Novak only elevated. This had been a nightmare season for Djokovic with the deportation drama and lackluster results, so I am impressed with how well he just stayed the course here and gradually improved his game throughout the months and this tournament. I predicted him to win this tournament 2 weeks ago because he's undoubtedly the best grass court player in the world right now. The serve is such a huge factor for him on this surface, as is his overall solid ground game. Now, Novak's definitely had his drops in form this fortnight, but he always seems to get it back together when his back is against the wall. The sitter match was huge for him, I feel, mentally, as when you come back from that big of a deficit 2 sets to love down, you basically can do anything. I think Nick played a very good match today, and he hit some incredible Sports Center worthy shots out there. I think he can definitely win a slam in the near future, but it's mostly all psychological, as Kyrgios needs to keep pushing and working to give himself more opportunities like this. In his post-match interview, Nick said that this run doesn't really motivate him to go further and push for that slam title because of how tired he was after this fortnight. He likely was joking, but there is some truth to that statement, as Kyrgios still really isn't conditioned to go all the way in a major. I think the Nadal walkover helped him tremendously, as he had an extra 3 hours of rest, but I think a bit more work in the gym can go a long way for him. I also think it's important that Nick plays more on the tour period and gives 100% out there so that he keeps putting himself in these positions so that he can get acclimated to these pressure situations. This is really just his second big final, as he made one 1000 championship match back in 2017. After the match, Nick and Novak had a nice moment and confirmed their bromance, which was great to see considering how rocky their relationship was years ago. In terms of the final as a whole, I thought it was good, definitely better than the French and last year's Wimbledon championship. At times, the serve botting and routine holds were a bit boring, but that's just grass tennis for you. The men's tournament as a whole was decent, but it obviously would have been much better if Medvedev and the other Russian players competed. Speaking of Daniil, he was not watching that final and was instead tuning into some F1 races, as he should, to be honest. Despite Djokovic's triumph, he won't be receiving any ranking points, as his 2,000 points from last year will just drop off. He'll bump down to number 7 in the world, while Kyrgios drops down to 45. I'll be intrigued to see how the remainder of the season plays out for these two. First, Novak, who might not be able to travel to the United States to play Cincinnati and New York due to his unvaccinated status. That'd be another load of points coming off, which could send the Serb outside the top 10. He might also be barred from playing Melbourne again, the Australian Open, which is even more detrimental to his slam race with Rafa. That's why winning this Wimbledon title was so important for Novak, so props to him for handling that unnecessary, self-imposed pressure nicely. Then there's the question of whether Kyrgios will learn and improve from this run or get down on himself and falter a bit. For that one, we'll just have to wait and see, but I could definitely see him making another deep run in Flushing. Now, Novak wasn't the only slam champion crowned today, as Barbora Krejcikova and Katerina Siniakova picked up the women's doubles title after beating Shuai Zhang and Elisa Mertens 6-2, 6-4. This is the Czech pair's 5th slam doubles title together and 2nd Wimbledon. That's all I have for y'all today, and let me know how you feel about Novak's triumph, Nick's performance, and him yelling at his team in the comment section below. Would you stay and take the bag in disrespect, or just leave? Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell, as I have quite a bit of content coming y'all's way soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.